What's up, my doggies? Welcome back to another Escape From Tarkov video. I'm Kawn, and Shooter Born in Heaven can be one of the worst quests, especially for new players, to get done. It's difficult and it requires a lot of knowledge about bullet calibers, bullet speeds, bullet drop, as well as spawns and good spots to shoot from. So today, as requested on Twitch by a lot of people, I'm going to show you guys the spots that I go to when I'm trying to get Shooter Born in Heaven done. I've got an awesome group of viewers over on Twitch. It'd be an honor to have you guys come and join us. And I have a Discord that's always growing with new players and veteran players who like to help each other out. And I'm giving away an EOD Tarky account, a free brand new Edge of Darkness Tarkov account to one of you guys. Details on how to enter, as well as all my links, are all down below. Now that I've plugged myself super hard, let's jump right into the video. So to start, the loadout doesn't really matter. I usually use a Mosin just because I'm comfortable with the bullet drop on that weapon, but as long as you're using something with a high amount of bullet velocity and something that you're comfortable with, just something that you've used before and you know the bullet drop on it already, so that you can hit those 100-meter shots without worrying too much about missing. Alright, so we're here on Woods. So with Woods, I'm not going to go too in-depth into it because Woods mainly is a map where you'll passively get Shooter Born in Heaven done. You're probably going to get it done as you progress through Shooter, so if you want to leave it till the end or do it first, I think it's the easiest map just because it's a sniping map. But typically in Woods, I like to hang around the sawmill. Any of these spots from one side to the other is usually typically around 100 meters. You can sit up on Dickhead Rock, you can sit up here, you can go up to the very top on Sniper Rock, but Woods is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just going to leave this one out. I don't think that you guys really need a Woods guide on how to get Shooter Born in Heaven done, so we're going to head over to Reserve. Okay, so we're here on Reserve. We've started off, we've spawned over by the checkpoint. Everybody knows this place is the Scavlands extract. Now, if you spawn here, like I said, Shooter Born in Heaven has a lot to do with spawns. So if you spawn here, there will potentially be somebody that spawns by one of these bunkers. So what I do if I spawn here is I'll immediately come here, sit by this tank, and watch this area. This is 100 meters if you headshot somebody as they come across here. So I've actually just spawned, run over here, headshot somebody, and it's 100 meters from here. So this isn't one that I would like actually sit at, but it's just more so one that if I spawn here, I'll go and watch this spot and usually try to get a headshot. Sometimes you miss, but if you hit the headshot as they run across into Black Pawn over here, you'll get one of your kills for Shooter Born in Heaven on Reserve. Another good spot that I like to go to when I'm playing Reserve trying to get Shooter Born in Heaven done is White Pawn. Now I'm not really going to go over Dome, but obviously Dome and any other rocks here are good places to go if you want Shooter Born in Heaven done. The problem is it's really easy to be seen and really easy to be sniped at. So we're going to go into White Pawn, and I think it's the 4th floor. Yeah, it's the 4th floor. We're going to head up to the 4th floor. And what I'll do is I will sit on top of this bench here and look over at the school. So as people go into the drop down room over there, the helicopter blade blocks it a little bit, but as people come up this ramp and go into the drop down, this is like almost 100 meters exactly. So shooting from here, I've gotten so many Shooter Born in Heaven kills done just sitting here, and it's also pretty well covered. Unless you're getting shot at from the roof over top here, from Black Pawn, you should be fine to get some headshots through this window. I would recommend sitting as far back as you can, because I have gotten like 99.9 meter kills from here. The closer you are to this window is probably not a good idea. If you want to guarantee it's 100, sit on the very back here of this like overturned bed, if I can get on it, and shoot across from there. It's almost exactly 100 meters, and it's a good spot that you won't get shot from. So my last spot for Reserve is over here by Marked Room. So sometimes you'll get the spawn over in Marked, but sometimes you'll get the spawn over here. Now a lot of people will want to just immediately rush Marked right away, but what I do if I'm going for Shooter Born in Heaven is I will run up into this tower. Now all of the towers are great, but if you actually spawn here, there's somebody else that will spawn in the B building over there by Marked. And what you can do is if you get up on top of this chair, lean this way, you can usually get a shot at somebody that comes out of this building and runs into Marked. So if you're at the beginning of the raid and you get a shot off somebody that spawned over here, it will be 100 meters from here to the front door of Marked Room on Reserve. And I've gotten a lot done like that as well. You can also lay down here to save your stamina, because when you're doing Shooter Born in Heaven, stamina is an issue. All the towers work. All the towers are good ones, but this is one that I find if you do it right off the beginning of the raid, people do not expect it. They'll sometimes even run this way and you can headshot them over here. But those are mainly my spots for reserve. Let's head on to the next map, customs. Alright, so starting over at the big red side of the map near the train, this is kind of one that I don't see a lot of people using, but I've actually found a lot of success with it. I know I don't have a scope on this MPX, which I hope you're not using an MPX to do your shooter-born heaven kills. But if you have a scope, you can see into Crack House. I don't know how good this is going to be with the dynamic loot changes, but I'm sure people will still check it. But I've actually gotten quite a few shooter-born heaven kills just sitting in this train, shooting over at the windows with Crack House. If you spawn close to here and it's early on in the raid, what you can do is just take one practice shot to see where your bullet lands inside of the room, line it up to where somebody's head would be so that you see where the bullet lands, line your cursor up there, and then just remember like how many ticks it is. This is almost a 200-meter shot, but I've seen a lot of success. You can also shoot people as they come across here, fighting the scavs over at the checkpoint. So this isn't a bad spot at all. The only problem is try not to make too much sound on the metal, because people do, obviously this is a high traffic area, but this is a good spot for getting shooter-born heaven kills done. Now for every one of these spots, anywhere that I'm telling you to look is also the opposite, so it's also worse the other way around. So if you are over here, a good spot to be looking out for is anywhere on these overturned trains, looking across here. If you spawn potentially in this corner or by Crack House and you're trying to get shooter-born heaven done, you can come over here, sit near a tank or something like that, and kind of just watch the bridge. That's a good spot there. Another spot that a lot of people don't check, surprisingly, is if you run up this pole right here and then lay down, you can snipe people as they come from Big Red side coming down the water. Until around here, it's 100 meters. So you can get shots done like that way as well. You can also shoot people as they go into the customs office. So this isn't a bad spot. It's a little risky, but it does work sometimes. Sometimes you will die, and that's just the thing with shooter. When you're doing shooter-born in heaven, sometimes you will just die to other people doing shooter-born in heaven, or you're just sitting in a spot that isn't the most amazing and you're a little bit exposed. You have to kind of expose yourself and risk it for the biscuit if you want to get this quest done. So if you get a spawn over here by Trailer Park, what you can do is actually camp the Big Red customs office, and it'll give you a 100-meter headshot if anybody goes up there. It's better early wipe because a lot of people are going to this office, but if you sit by this truck, you can even jump up on top of the boxes. That light that's up there is actually the door that goes into the customs office, so you can just sit here, and this is 100 meters, and when they unlock the key, bang, they're dead. Easy peasy. Okay, so another good spot for shooter-born and heaven kills on customs is up in the big skeleton area right here. Now if you're actually pushed up against this, looking at fortress or whatever people call it, it's not 100 meters, but if you're on the back side over here, it is 100 meters. So from there to the sandbags is a little bit less, but if you can shoot people as they're like, I don't know, maybe 5-10 feet back, it'll be 100 meters. So there's a couple other spots in this big area, and they are pretty risky. One of them is right here. You can watch the doorway that goes into 3-story dorms, which actually isn't too bad. You can get quite a few shots off on people here. But if you want to be real risky with it, but also like it's pretty good success rate, over here you'll get a way better view of the fortress. Anybody top of fortress is an easy 100-meter headshot, as well as people coming over the train. Although you are pretty exposed up here, but if you're just running like a Mosin, like I just run a Mosin in level 4 armor usually to do this, so if you're just running with some low tier gear, this is a really good spot if you're not too worried about dying. So right now I'm currently in the power station building. There's actually 2 pretty good spots in the power station building for shooter-born in heaven. So one of them, if you go up this ramp, jump on this here, and then side jump here, if you look through this little glass window, you can snipe people that are along that ridge. And a lot of people will sit there trying to do shooter-born heaven. Same thing goes for that side. That's also a decent spot, but it's very exposed. This spot is not very exposed, and a lot of people don't look here. So sitting here and trying to snipe people on the ridge or on the hill, or even like if you can get someone down there by that pipe, it's 100 meters. So this is a pretty good spot in the power station building. Another good spot in the power station building is right here. A lot of people know about this, but it's just, you know, a honorable mention, but it's up on the second floor that overlooks the fortress. So if you can snipe somebody in fortress or at the very bottom at the back there, it's around 100 meters. You can also see people coming out from the garage, but the problem with this spot is a lot of people check up here, so I would definitely be careful. But if you kind of swivel yourself over to this side, you can also hit people that come over from the train as well. Good spot, but also very, very open. Now another honorable mention, but really open and probably not the best, is right here. So obviously using these rocks to your advantage are good. You want to try to be hiding behind rocks, but this gives you a pretty wide open view of the whole map. But the problem is the whole map has a wide open view of you as well, so it's a decent one. Another quick one that I'll just throw in while I'm up here is if you spawn anywhere near this power station, or if you spawn anywhere near the stash over there, I would definitely recommend looking over to this area. Or if you spawn over there, looking over to this area, because people spawn here and people will spawn up there, and you can catch people as they go to dorms, or you can catch people as they go to the rocks or come down the hill. So if you spawn in any of this area, I would recommend just like staying in spawn and looking over to the other spawns. That's probably the best way to get it done from those areas. So this is another good one, but the thing is, it's kind of in the open. You got to watch out for the sniper scav because he will shoot down on you. So as long as he's dead, this is a pretty good spot. If you lay down here, you can shoot people across the ridge here, and you can also shoot people that are fighting over on the bridge and people that are fighting at gas. So if you're here shooting at gas, I wouldn't hesitate to just come lay down here, take some shots at the people that might be up on the bridge or the people behind gas. I've gotten a lot of kills in this spot. It seems like a really simple one and one that, you know, isn't gonna work, but it's actually really good, and I've gotten so many shooterborn heaven kills here, you'd have no idea. So the last spot that I'm gonna show you for customs is up here in the USEC building. So it's not the green screen room, but it's in the room where the mannequin has a side. Now you can either sit on top of this table and look over at gas station or up on the ridge, but you can also go into this room, which I like to do, and get up on here and look all the way down to the shortcut. So if you have a good enough scope, you can see all the way down to the shortcut, as well as looking at big skeleton there, and you can get a lot of picks from this area. I've gotten a few shooterborn in heaven kills here, and it's definitely a good spot. So customs is a pretty heavy one. Lots of good spots on customs to get it done, and it's actually, for a lot of people, seems to be the more hard one to get done. But let's head over to Shoreline. Starting off on Shoreline, if you spawn near the rock bridge here, I usually tend to just head up to the weather station and shoot across. I'll show you guys. So the weather station is actually a pretty good spawn because you just have a lot of height advantage. But sitting up anywhere on these rocks, there's a spawn over there and a spawn over there. And as people run up to resort, you can usually pick them off. So if you spawn here, it's actually a really good one. And as people just come across here, you can usually pick them off. Same goes for that antenna tower over there. If you spawn over there, you can do the same thing for people that are coming up this way or coming up this way. So anywhere near the weather station is pretty good. You can also go from any of the other corners of the weather station and look at the other sides of the map, but I'm sure you guys get that. Any high place is good for shooterborn in heaven. But now I'm going to show you guys some of my like really good spots that I like to use. So over here on this side of resort, you can get a corner spawn that spawns over here. It's actually pretty common. What I usually do is I run up to this ridge with the broken house, and then I'll go and I'll lay on these rocks right here, and I'll watch people as they come from this way. Anywhere from here to here, they'll run up this way, and I'll headshot them as they come up this way. Till about here, this tree here, this bush, it's 100 meters. What you can also do is you can also sit up here and watch as people climb up the rock jumps up here to get to the top of resort, as well as people in the windows and people on the top of the resort over there. Now I'm behind resort, behind the management office. So a place that I like to go if I spawn around here or if I'm just passing through is I'll run up these rocks over on this side, get up on top of these rocks, and you have a really good view of the west wing over here. So you have a great view of the west wing as well as a little bit of the east wing, but this is 100 meters if you can headshot people if they're hanging out on the roof. You can also go on the roof on Shoreline to get shooterborn and heaven kills, but I prefer not to. It's very open. So I think this is a pretty good spot. It's also pretty covered. I don't really like extract camping, but you can shoot people as they come across here to go extract as well. But This is probably where I've gotten like majority of my shooter born in heaven kills, honestly. So now we're in front of the resort, looking down through the ravine. There's a couple good spots here, so you can sit up here and snipe people as they come across here or come across here. But what I sometimes will like to do is sit down here and snipe people that are at power station, or you can also do the same thing on the other side, like this. So this is actually a better spot than the other spot. You just have more visibility. Another good spot is just to the right of that last spot that I showed you, and just being on these rocks here and shooting people as they come by the spine. A lot of people will run along the shoreline to go to the gas station or to power station here. So as they come across here, this is almost 100 meters as long as they're past that tree line right there. 100. So this spot here is actually one of my favorite spots to do it on Shoreline if I get a spawn close by. But what I usually do is I sit around this area, gas stations there, power stations there, and I'll watch this entire area. I'll also kind of use the sniper scav as like an alarm system, basically. So if he's not shooting at you or not aggro to you, you can keep him alive and just kind of hang around here. And then if you see him shooting at somebody, or you hear somebody shooting at him, you can kind of just watch, and anything across here is pretty much 100 meters unless it's like right there. As long as it's past basically this tree, anything down there is 100 meters. You can also headshot people as they go to gas. If you hear people running up to a resort, you can kind of just like listen to the shots and use this point as just like a good point of just like a good point to start, and then wherever you hear shots, go towards them, line up the headshot, and get it off. The last spot for Shooter Born in Heaven is here, and it's basically a twofer. So if you spawn over here, which you will spawn over this way, we're by the swamp, immediately I would recommend just going and looking across here. You'll see people that run across the swamp from this spawn near the village over into this way towards the cottages. Easy headshots. Anybody that spawns over here running across here, easy headshots. And if you spawn over on this way, I would recommend looking over here, easy headshots. So if you spawn over there, look this way. If you spawn this way, look that way. So it's pretty simple, but those are mainly my spots for Shoreline. If you guys have any spots for me that you found that you got Shooter Born in Heaven done really easily, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' input. And if you like this video, don't forget to like this video. And for more content, you know who to subscribe to. Peace, people.